welcome to Wednesday Night Live. We have an incredible evening tonight. We have a great message on creativity by Reverend Cynthia James, and extraordinary music, of course, featuring those guys behind me. Let's give a hand to the Mile High Choir. Just wanted to thank you for coming and to encourage you to come to each and every Wednesday Night Live. Next week we have Reverend Patty giving another message called Unleashing Your Outrageous You. And so you want to come back for that, and special music, Reverend Cynthia James, who you're hearing tonight speaking. She'll be doing music and also Hearts of Fire. And that's something that we're really looking forward to. 2 weeks from tonight, we're doing a comedy night with stand-up comedian Karen Ruth White, who just wowed the ladies at a recent Tea Talks. How many of you women were at that? She was so hilarious. And let me tell you, we have maniacal music to accompany that wonderful message on the power of laughter and humor. So come back 2 weeks from tonight. So now it's my pleasure to turn over the introductions of our very special musical guest to our beloved choir director, Dr. Vicki Lynn Berger. What was I going to say? I have no idea. But Dr. Vicki Lynn Berger. Welcome, Vicki.
Thank you, Dr. Kent. Hello, I'm Vicki Berger. I conduct the Mile High Choir here, and I want to say how lucky we are here to be tonight. I'm a little nervous. Holly Near is my hero. Here we go. I'm here tonight with Dr. Kent Rautenstrauss and the world's most dangerous church band, actually the world's softest, hardest church band, as we all know, along with the Mile High Choir and the Reverend Cynthia James. It's not often that one gets to introduce one of one's heroes, but tonight is such a night for me and for many of us here, I would guess. Holly Near is with us this evening. I want to say, yes. I want to say a special thank you to Dr. Roger, to Reverend Cynthia and the Diversity Corps, Dr. Kent and the Music Ministry for their support of her appearance here tonight. Holly Near is a singer, songwriter, author, teacher, and activist. Her career has been defined by an unwillingness to separate her passion for music from her passion for human dignity. She is an ambassador for peace and social justice who brings to the stage an integration of world consciousness, spiritual discovery, and theatricality. I've worked with her twice before, and I find her to be one of those rare people who can connect with anyone and who not only talks the talk, but walks the walk every day, no matter how difficult. She's traveled all over the world in an attempt to build awareness and bridges between people, including El Salvador, Botswana, Mexico, the fields where migrant workers toil in California, Latin American prisons, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender rallies, and gatherings of women for peace in Ireland and England. Indeed, wherever she is called, she goes. Some of the many highlights of her entertainment career include a film and television and theatrical life, which included a role in Hair on Broadway, being the first woman to start an independent record company that produced and promoted music by politically conscious artists from around the world when she founded Redwood Records in 1972. She has over 20 recordings, an autobiography called Fire in the Rain, Singer in the Storm, an off-Broadway show she appeared in about her life with the same title, a children's book based on her song, The Great Peace March. Her awards include honors from the ACLU, the National Organization for Women, the Ms. Magazine Woman of the Year, and in 2005, a nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize under the banner 1,000 Women for Peace. It is my great honor to introduce the artist and humanitarian, Holly Near.
Startling to hear one's introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. I was walking down the street one day in New York City. It was hot and humid and people were cranky, and you could see people coming to the end of their rope, especially parents and So often we don't get taught when we're parents that our frustrations are our frustrations, they don't belong to our children. But the parents hadn't learned this in this particular block, and one of them reached down and hit a 3-year-old child for not walking fast enough. And I was stunned by this violence. A voice inside me kept saying, "Come on, Holly, say something, do something. You know how to do intervention. Let this child know that inappropriate behavior has just taken place." But instead, a weighty silence came over me, and I thought about all the terrible things that had happened to children over the centuries, and I got lost in some big picture, not able to be right there in the moment. But right across the street, there was a black man with long dreadlocks and a bright colored shirt, and he started dancing in the street and singing, "Don't hit the baby, don't hit the baby." I said, yes, that's what I meant to say. Something changes in me when I witness someone's courage. They may not know I'm watching, and I may not let them know, but something changes in me that will last me for a lifetime. Fill me when I'm empty and rock me when I'm low. Something changes in me anytime there's someone singing all the songs I've never forgotten. Let our voices sing them strong. Something changes in me anytime there's someone standing for the right to be completely all the good things that we are. There's a change of heart anytime there's someone counting all the lives that won't be thrown away. There's a change of heart anytime you join the choir or be a voice up on the mountain or see a fire in the rain. Something changes in me and my arms are held wide open. Fear and hate are set aside and only love remains. Something changes in me and I feel a deep emotion as the ones that offer help replace the ones that just complain. There's a change of heart anytime there's someone counting all the lives that won't be thrown away. There's a change of heart anytime you join the choir or be a voice up on the mountain or see a fire in the rain. Do not forget the children, they are the singers in the storm. And when their hearts are threatened, well, a fire is bound to start, and they'll wake us up at midnight and we'll feel an ancient pain. I do believe their love directs the flame. There is a change of heart anytime there's someone counting all the lives that won't be thrown away again and again. There's a change of heart anytime you join the choir or be a voice up on the mountain or see a fire in the rain. I'm going to do one more song a cappella and then get to work with all of the sounds that are waiting up here. I believe that sometimes we have a sense of being bored, and so we turn to technology, Palm Pilots or cell phones or whatever, to fill up that empty space. Because when I was a little kid, we didn't have electricity, we didn't have record players, we didn't have televisions when I first was growing up out in this farm. And so if we were bored, we went into the kitchen and declared that to our mother. She had a great tactic. She'd hand us a dish towel. And we all of a sudden thought of all the extraordinary things we needed to be doing right at that moment. And we would go outside, and she'd look out the window, and there we'd be with sticks and dust and rocks, making up a whole world in our imagination. So now, when we get bored, We don't know how to wait through it long enough to get to the sticks and the dust and the rocks and the imagination. Right beyond that discomfort, I think, is our next best idea. Was a cellist in Sarajevo, and the bombs were dropping on his village, and he went out into the middle of the village and he began to play his cello, and someone from the press came out and said, "Sir, why are you out here playing your cello while they're dropping bombs?" And he said, "Why are they dropping bombs while I'm playing my cello?" He was on his way to his next best idea, reframing the question. So here's a story for you. Can you call on your imagination as if telling a myth to a child? Put in the fantastical, wonderful, magical, add the romantic, the brave and the wild. Once upon a time there was a power so great that no one could know its name. People tried to claim it and rule with it, but all with such arrogance ended in shame. Thousands of years would pass in a moment, hundreds of cultures would come and go, each generation with a glorious calling, even when they were too busy to know. And then one day, after 2 millennia, which after all was a small part of time, hundreds of souls found their way out of nowhere to be on Earth at the threat of decline. Let's all go, they moved as one being, even though each would arrive here alone. They promised to work in grace with each other to brave the beautiful planet called home. Now there was no promise that they could save it, but how exciting to give it a try. If each one did just one thing beautifully, complex life on Earth might not die. And so they arrived in a spectrum of colors. The population on Earth did explode. Some threw themselves in front of disaster, and others slowly carried their load. Some adopted small girls from China. Some lived high in the branches of trees. Some died as martyrs, some lived as healers, and some bravely walked with a dreadful disease. They mingled among each class and each culture. Not one of them could be identified, but together they altered just enough moments to help the lost and the terrified. Step outside of our egos and our bodies to know for once that we truly are one. Then quickly we would forget to remember, but that's okay, their job was well done. And Earth went on for another millennium. Now it's time for the song to end. A magical story of hope and of wonder invites you all to wake up and pretend to be fabulous creatures set from the power, souls that have come with one purpose in mind, to do one thing that will alter the outcome, and maybe together we can do it in time. Can you call on your imagination as if telling a myth to a child? Put in the fantastical, wonderful, magical, add the romantic, the brave and the wild. The souls are coming back, the souls are coming back, the souls are coming back. Thanks to Music Ministry and the Diversity Corps, and of course to the wonderful Vicki Berster for bringing me here and to be able to sing with you. Reverend Cynthia James, it's been a pleasure to meet her. We're going to move on and do some work with this wonderful band and all these voices. And somewhere along in there you may even find a part for yourself when you feel so moved. There was a woman in the Appalachian Mountains who'd been trying to stop the strip mining for years. Nothing had worked, all illegal ways. Here came the big machinery to tear up her land, turn the water into black waters. So she stood in front of that machinery, She said, if you're going to take my mountain, you're going to have to take me first. Now, the sad part about the story is they lifted that old woman up by the wrists and the ankles, and they carried her off and threw her in jail. But the great part about the story and the part that inspired the song is that she did not go willingly. And isn't there a moment in each of our lives where we know exactly where we stand? And as Dr. Bernice Johnson Regan says, it then becomes someone else's job to remove us. But we don't want to do their work for them. Plant our feet and our soul. Now I understand that her family came down out of the mountains on Thanksgiving Day and liberated her from jail with hog rifles, but that's a different story. I have dreamed on this mountain since first I was my mother's daughter, and you can't just take my dreams away. And not with me watching, you may drive a big machine, but I was born a great big woman, and you can't just take my dreams away without me fighting. I saw mountain raise my many daughters. Some died young, some are still living. If you come here, what a taking a mountain. Well, we ain't come here to give it. I have dreamed on this mountain since first I was my mother's daughter, and you can't just take my dreams away. Not with me watching, no, you can't just take my dreams away without me fighting. No, you can't just take my dreams away. I have dreamed on this mountain since first I was my mother's daughter, and you can't just take my dreams away. Not with me watching me drive a big machine, that I was born a great big woman, and you can't just take my dreams away without me fighting. It's all mountain to raise my many daughters. Some died young, some still living. If you come here for the taking of mountain, well, we ain't come here to get it. I have dreamed on this mountain since first I was my mother's daughter, and you can't just take my dreams away. Not with me watching, no, you can't just take my dreams away without me fighting. No, you can't just take my dreams away. I was telling Vicki, it's so great to work with a music director that is, and singers who have learned to sing in syncopation as a group, because there's so many choirs that don't know how to sing 2 and 4. So thank you for having learned how to do that. Extraordinary. It's a wonderful thing. We're going to dive into a song that I wrote after my father died, called Sun Won't Stop. My father used to be so amused by parents who would say to their children, now honey, if I die, kicking those kids right into a state of denial right from the beginning. So my parents always told us that they would die, that everything comes and goes. Children ran to the river bank, left their shoes and swam towards the light. When dawn came on and the dinner bells rang, children went nowhere in sight. Only a shame, only a memory, only a shell and a sigh. a while.
Well, Holly, you're so fabulous. Thank you. So I love it when I get to meet new artists. I'm ringing a little bit, huh? And I love it when I get to meet inspired. Oh, is it up? Oh, why don't we do this? Life is good. So I wanted to start this evening with a poem by a 13th century Sufi poet. You are born with potential. You are born with goodness and trust. You are born with ideals and dreams. You are born with greatness. You were born with wings. You were not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. And I really think that that's what Holly sings about. I think that's what she models and exemplifies. That she has learned to take her potential and fly. And I think that we all have that, but along the way, through circumstances, events, or whatever's going on in our life, you know, we start crawling because people tell us we need to be small. We start hiding because people tell us we need to be invisible. But the truth is that we were brought here to be great. So I wanted to share some people with you today, and I'll tell you at the end of it what they have in common, but there's some people that I just thought caught this thing about flying. So when we were in the minister's room, I asked Holly, you know, did she know this when she came here? And she said no, she came here and she knew at 7 she was going to sing and she was going to be in movies and go to Broadway, and that's what she was sent to do. And then there were current events that happened in the world that pulled her into a place where she used her talent to stand up for humanity, to stand up for dignity, to stand up and say, this is not okay the way in which you are treating people around the planet. And thus was born Holly's music in a different form. So, Holly and I have a lot in common. You know, we don't look alike, but we do, hello. So when I was little, I knew I wanted to sing and go to Broadway and do my thing. And I wanted to be Betty Davis, and it didn't dawn on me that she wasn't black for a long time. I saw no reason why I couldn't be her. And what happened for me is that I was moved and guided so that my artistry became a part of the ministry that I do in a different way. So, I love basketball. And Magic Johnson was the bomb. He grew up, in fact, when he started, you know, they said, you're not really all that great. And he was like, I don't think so. And he got drafted by the Lakers in 1979, went on to lead them to numerous championships, was MVP a whole bunch of times, an all-star a whole bunch of times, won a gold medal. And then something happened. Something happened that he was HIV positive. And for a lot of people, they were crushed and they were like, oh my goodness, our hero. And he was like, oh, please don't go there because I have come here to do great things. So what he did and what he continues to do is he has Magic Johnson Enterprises. And I just want to share a little bit about what that is, because it's amazing. The mission for his companies is to be the nation's foremost development company through enrichment of undeserved markets across the country. developing entertainment complexes, coffee houses, restaurants, and centers in undeserved areas, providing jobs within those communities, employing local minority contractors and service vendors. So today, Magic Johnson has Magic Johnson Theaters, TGIF Fridays, Carlson restaurants worldwide, urban coffee opportunities in partnership with Starbucks. And Starbucks didn't used to partner, y'all. Washington Mutual and Canyon Johnson Urban Fund, which is his foundations. You know, he absolutely decided that the diagnosis was not his identity. That the way in which people were viewing him or not viewing had nothing to do with his destiny. So he chose to do it differently. And so did this beautiful woman, Mother Teresa. She was born, thank you. She was born in 1910, and at 12 years old, she got a calling. And she got a calling to serve God. Now, she didn't know what that meant, but she knew that she was to serve God, and she was to bring the message of Christ to the planet. So in 1931, she took her vows, and what happened was she was sent to India. And while she was there, she got this deep knowing that her job on this planet was to care for the people that nobody wanted, to care for the people that no one loved, to care for the people that no one was willing to embrace. And so she started this monasteries of charity, and then Pope Paul VI, you know, made it international at some point. And they were started all over the world. Now, she didn't come here to be Mother Teresa. She came here to serve. And because she was so committed to carry the consciousness and the message of the Christ, love, inclusivity, empowerment, joy, and embracing all, what happened is she won a Nobel Prize. And I want to tell you what her speech said. I choose the poverty of our poor people, but I am grateful to receive the Nobel Prize in the name of the hungry, the naked, the homeless, of the crippled, of the blind, of the lepers, of all those people who feel unwanted, unloved, uncared for throughout society. People that have become a burden to the society and are shunned by everyone. She chose to take a stand on the worldwide stage for love. So this woman was born with a Hollywood spoon in her mouth. Her father, Henry Fonda. So, you know, she knew what it meant to be an actor. She was beautiful, sexy, talented. And so when she started to do her work on the planet as an actress, she thought that that was it, and she's very good at it, very powerful. And then something happened. Something happened in that she decided that she did not like the injustices that were happening on the planet. So she stood up against the war in Vietnam. She stood up against the challenges with civil rights in this country. She stood up against what was happening to Native Americans and people in this country that were not being cared for. And some people didn't like it. Dialogue, baby, it's good. Okay. So, but here's something else that she did. She, at the pinnacle of her career, and even though she's having all this other stuff, she decided that she wanted to create a space for women to learn to take care of themselves. So she started Jane Fonda Workout Centers. That became the first really video workout things in this country. Millions of people started to learn how to take care of themselves by working out in their homes. So she took all their talent and she started funneling it in ways that could support the masses, as well as stand up for humanity. Now Now, you may not know who this is. This is Margaret Starbird. Margaret Starbird, wife, mother of 5, brilliant, educated, and a good Catholic. Until these messages started coming in, of which she was kind of appalled at first. But she got the message, A, that there was something deeper about Mary Magdalene and the story of Jesus the Christ. And she started doing research because she was really good at that. And she started uncovering this whole story that became the foundation of information in the Da Vinci Code that I'm sure many of you have read. And she now travels all around the world talking to people about the power of the feminine. Now, to look at her, you wouldn't think that she would be like a revolutionary, but oh my goodness, she is shaking things up. This is Bono. Lead singer for U2. U2 has won 22 Grammys. They got inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2005. But what's amazing about this man is with all this money and all this fame, he spends a lot of time going around the world lobbying politicians and talking about us being socially conscious, about us standing in a way in which we are for humanity and for the divinity in all. Now, he doesn't call it all the divinity and all, but I do, so it's all good. So here's this woman, this child born in Mississippi, you know, abused, mistreated, and her vision always was to be an actress, to be a performer. And of course, considering her circumstances, that wasn't really something people thought she would do. But today, they say her wealth is, you know, somewhere around $1 billion. She's one of the most powerful women in the world. She has used her television program to transform consciousness for a long time. So what all these people have in common to me is that they all came here with something to express. And it could have been sports, it could have been music, it could have been acting, but they all came here with something to express. And somewhere along the way, something got touched. Something got touched that said, you are more than this. You are larger than this. You are more profound than this. It is time for you to stand in the power and the presence that you are. And it's not always popular. And see, I think that each and every single one of us has that calling. The reason that we love Hollies and all the people that are up there is because they dared to stand. They dared to step out. But you know what? What would happen if the people in this room all decided to stand up in the power and the presence of who they are, found their voice, found their rhythm, found their poetry, found their screenplays, found their businesses that were about inclusivity and love? Oh my God, we transformed this whole planet. And some of you stood, and I want you to know why that's important. Because we are on the planet at an amazing time. We are on the planet at a time of deep transition. We are being called to stand up. We are being called to dive into the depths of our spirituality and come up understanding that there is nothing opposing us ever. Thank you. We are being called to stand up and say, I am here to express fully. So I would like in this moment, I would like to ask, what has been calling you to go deeper? What's been calling you to stand up and sing your song? What's been calling you to stand up and tell your story, to absolutely stand up and say, it is not okay to step over the sick. It is not okay to not love people that think differently, move differently, act differently, love differently. It is not okay. The lyrics of that beautiful song that Holly sang about your imagination and the beings. We really are the beings. We have come here to transform the planet. We have come here to do that. And there's no moment to waste. So I invite you in this moment to just tap into your heart center and close your eyes if you like. And tap into that place within you that's calling you to go deeper, that's calling for you to stand up and find your voice, that's calling you to be free. What is that part? What does it want to say? How does it want to show up? Because you see, you don't have to be famous. You only have to be you. And so I invite you to breathe that in. What's calling you? How do you want to stand for humanity? For the hungry, the homeless, the poor, the undeserving? How do you want to do that? Because no one can do it like you. And so I ask from this place that you just join me in a prayer. A prayer that is calling in the fullness of who you are. Because it is the expression of the divine that wants to express through you in a grand and glorious way. A power-filled way. A wonder-filled way. Because I am so clear that we are each divine emanations, that we are each brought here, that each of us have chosen to come here at this time on the planet, at this time to absolutely express. No matter what the pathway of expression, we stand in the fullness that the Spirit of the living God is revealing itself in the way in which we walk, in the way in which we speak, in the way in which we love, in the way in which we acknowledge each other. So I give thanks that in this moment, this room full of people stand. Stand for love. Stand for peace. Stand for inclusivity. Stand for total freedom. I give thanks because I know that there's nothing that stands in the way. I know that any appearance, circumstance, or event, any lie that has been told to us that we are not enough, absolutely transforms and transcends to another space, to the higher space in this moment. And we claim the truth of who we are. And we dare to see the face of God in every person, every event. Because that is all that there is. And so I stand in this space of gratitude for every person in this room, for I know we represent the whole. And for this, I am so grateful. And so I release this word into the law, and I know it does not return to me void. Anything that is to be released absolutely moves into higher ground, and we stand as a space of the divine. And we simply allow it to be. And so it is.
And I am willing for to behold hold my wonder and give me an ocean to hold my tears, but I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It is ours, those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change.
Real quick, just a couple announcements.
You're on.
And then you're on. What? Oh, sorry.
We need to write these announcements for the offering.
Thank you, Dr.
So much
Ken.
to do. So little time.
Sorry.
Okay, hi. Okay, ushers, come on down, please. This is our time of conscious giving in support of this community and the communities that we serve, and so if you could take out your offerings in this moment, and if you choose, place them over your heart as a representation of the heart of the divine, supporting you, giving to us all. And so maybe you could say with me, divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate, and so it is.
The rumors I see, and snow was falling, just where and I was weary from my driving, and I stopped to wait for a while. I sat down at a truck stop. I was thinking about my past. I'm at alone, treated better, and a friend is gone at last, gone at last. What's your problem? Tell me why you're so down. I've been alone, street and I'm praying it's gonna last, gonna last, gonna last. I've been alone, street and I'm praying it's gonna last. Every while, from the middle of nowhere, when you don't expect it, somebody will come and lift you higher, and you burn and feel you share. Yes, I do believe if I hadn't met you, I might still be sinking fast. I've been alone, shaking that mellow, and I'm praying it's gonna last, gonna
You can stay, Freddie. You're good. Before you get clear, I want to let you know three things. If you want a prayer by a practitioner tonight. Instead of that being in the chapel, it's going to be here in the sanctuary afterwards. Secondly, Holly's going to be in concert this Friday night at Swallow Hill Music School, which is at Yale and Broadway. It's an 8 o'clock concert. It's general seating. Tickets may be purchased on their website, swallowhill.com. I have my tickets. I hope to see many of you there. They were very gracious in allowing her to appear here in the same week that they had already booked her, and so we would love if you could also support them. That would be wonderful. Also, I forgot to mention there's coffee and cookies and things over in the community center if you want to grab one. The last thing I want to tell you is Holly's very graciously agreed to do a question and answer period. So here's how this is going to work, because I know some of you want to buy CDs and have her sign them too. She and I are going to run, grab her CD boxes, and bring them on the table, which is directly back there in the lobby. Not over in the Artist Center where you're used to getting them, but back in the lobby. She's going to sign them for about 15 minutes. And then we're going to go over to the chapel, and we'll do about a 30-minute question and answer period. If you have never heard her speak, it's just a phenomenal experience. And so I'd love for you to experience that. Then she'll sign some more CDs after that, and then she'll be exhausted. Okay? All right, thank you all for coming tonight. And Holly, we're going to end with a song that many of you will probably know. Were murdered in San Francisco. It was a homophobic hate crime. We didn't have those words back then. Language sometimes creates itself out of necessity. But someone killed these two men, one who was an out gay man and the other who was an ally. And so we gathered in San Francisco filled with rage and pain. Some people wanted to bash windows and burn cars, and others said, let's take this anger and turn it into building a movement towards social justice. And so that took place. They asked me to come and sing. I was driving towards Castro Street where there would be this huge event. People standing for blocks and blocks and blocks holding their candles. And I was going to sing one of my other songs, but this song just came right in and started writing itself while I was parking in the car. And that night, we sang We Are Gay and Lesbian People. And then the song took off and went out and flew all over the world. People wrote new verses that would suit their own needs. It even found its way into the Unitarian hymnal. But as allies began to sing the song, the verse changed from We Are Gay and Lesbian People to We Are Gay and Straight Together. And then the years went on and we learned more about sexuality, and now I can't fit all the words into the meter of the song. But whoever you are and however you feel about yourself, just know that I see you.
So maybe now it's time to sing We Are